Do you know what I like? Beans. Baked beans. Beans. They're good for your heart. The more you eat, well, I've forgotten the rest. And none quench my hunger more than Bush's baked beans. The leading monopoly in the bean industry. But how did it get this way? How did Bush become so incredibly popular over top of the rest of the bean competition? Why, it's ads, of course. While these ads began even before the 2010s, they have remained relevant even today. But why are these ads incredibly popular? What made them so special and synonymous with many Americans around the world whenever baked beans becomes part of the topic? Let's go ahead and break it down. Bush's Baked Beans was originally a company that wasn't. It was founded by A.J. Bush, self-proclaimed all-round great guy. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty decent resume. It was a local family-owned company called Bush Brothers & Company. Located in Chestnut Hill, Tennessee, it in fact did not house baked beans, but was in fact a tomato cannery, canning tomatoes. And blackberries, peaches, hominy, and green bean. Every origin story's gotta start with tomatoes. Unfortunately, the tomato market crash after World War I almost took the company under, but thankfully, the roaring 20s sought new life in tomatoes, and Bush's became an incredibly unstoppable— Oh yeah. Actually, that's a lie. The Great Depression wasn't all too bad with Bush. In fact, it introduced a lot of inexpensive and cheap food products such as pork and beans, and that was added to Bush's line of products, and you could kind of see where all this goes. Pork and beans would continue to be successful even after AJ's death, and soon enough in the 70s and 80s, the secret family recipe would become the advertising catalyst for Bush's Baked Beans, even up to today, of course. But enough about history. Let's talk about the ads and what exactly they all mean. CHD, or Cole Henderson Drake, would be hired by Bush to handle its campaigns. They are a relatively small agency in Georgia, so they don't have a whole lot of clients outside of Snapper Power Equipment in 1998 and Bush. But don't underestimate their size, as they are quite impressive. In fact, it was CHD themselves that chose that a family member should be the spokesperson for the company. And I mean, well, who else would it be? Since it was a local family-owned business, and it still is family-owned, yeah, that seems to bring the message out quite well. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a creative director behind the campaigns. Wikipedia says a man named David Garzotto did it, but that's Wikipedia. We don't trust Wikipedia. And it's one of the biggest mysteries of modern history, so we're just gonna go ahead and add that one to the list. But with great commercials comes great iconic duos. And there are none more iconic than Jay Bush and his dog, Duke. So let's go ahead and talk about those guys. Jay Bush, AJ's great-grandson, would become the spokesperson for the company in 1994. Like I said, this was keeping with the family aspect of the company, so he was definitely a perfect choice. Bush was inspired by his father, Condon Bush, to join the bean industry. In 1995, he would be joined alongside a dog named Duke. While the dog on screen is only an actor, he's portraying Bush's actual Labrador. I bet if you've seen the ads, you probably recognize Duke. I mean, how can you not love a dog? He's easily the most famous part of the ads, and yeah, everyone does love a dog. He even got his own children's book, and might I say, that's a cover art worth framing on the wall. Though, surprisingly, they haven't tried many new things as of recently when it comes to Bush's advertising. Actually, it's kept quite consistent over the years. The structure never really changes, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward, so let's finish up there. So what makes Bush's taste so good? Would be the first words you'd hear every time a new ad for Bush's Baked Beans would pop up on your screen. As I previously said, the secret family recipe was an advertising catalyst behind Bush's. One of the most synonymous quotes with these ads would be "roll that beautiful bean footage," and yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. It's also one of the quotes that's required by law to be said by every father in existence. No? Just mine? Okay. However, Jay makes one note that there's only one person or one thing in the world that knows the recipe that is not a family member. None other than Duke, a dog who cannot speak.
Yeah, that's it. UFOs.
You get it? 'Cause he talk. For real though, it's interesting how such a simple idea with a small punchline is able to do as much as it can. It's not burn back simple, but I'd like to think that it's kind of based off the idea, but it does remind me a lot of Saatchi and Saatchi ads, to be honest. Recently, they brought on Brian Baumgartner, who plays Kevin on The Office, to make his Kevin's Famous Chili on screen with Bush's Baked Beans, and Like, why are we doing this? It hurt the first time. Now I gotta watch it a second time. But all good things must come to an end. And unfortunately, so does Duke. The actor dog that played Duke, or the original, has unfortunately passed away, and my presentation is dedicated to this legend of American history. Rest in peace, buddy.